Tommy is supporting our candidates and candidates across Scotland, so he's been doing a lot of travelling around, a lot of meetings. I think you're all aware the whole over 3 meetings that he did as well, so it hasn't stopped. He's just going from one to the next and keeps going, and we're very grateful for that. We're very grateful that Tommy has come from Glasgow to speak here tonight on behalf of our candidates. So Tom, thanks for coming.
Brothers and sisters, I sincerely hope the camera is working at the back, and I hope that John's camera is working, because I think what we've heard tonight is absolutely brilliant. I think we've heard an exposition of socialist policies from women who are absolutely committed to changing life for the better. Each and every one of them, I'm going to appeal to you. I noticed that you were reading from prepared scripts, and I would really ask that those of you that have your prepared scripts, that you would send them to us and we can put them on our website, because I want other people to be able to access the information that you have given us tonight. Absolutely brilliant. So pleased. I've got to say, I'm awfully proud as the co-convener of this party to have this level of talent here, and it has made my job very, very difficult actually to follow these individuals who have spoken with such passion and intellect. But I do think it makes me proud of what solidarity represents, and if there are any socialist women who are watching on the internet, that they get this on Facebook or Twitter or whatever, I hope you'll take a step to join this party, and you can see as everyone in Cumnock knows, you are a proud member of your community in the shape of one of your aim in relation to Keir Hartley. And I, as Rosemary has said, have spoken in this very hall at several Keir Hartley memorial events. And it's fitting that we mention Keir Hartley at this meeting, not only because Keir Hartley, at the time, against all of the political machinations and political class, Keir Hartley was a champion of votes for women long before it became popular, and was criticised and castigated by fellow males in the Houses of Parliament for supporting votes for women. So it's very appropriate that we at Solidarity meeting mention the name of Keir Hartley, not only because of his advocacy of equality, votes for women, equal rights for women, but also the fact that Keir Hartley was a very committed and passionate anti-war campaigner as well. One of the few elected politicians, died in 1915 but opposed the beginning of the First World War in 1914. It's also fitting that at this Solidarity meeting, Keir Hartley's name is mentioned, because Keir Hartley also stood for a free Scotland. He also stood for the idea that Scotland should determine its own destiny. He also stood for trade union rights. He also stood for the independent organisation of the working class through the trade union movement. All of those values are not just shared but are promoted by Solidarity. But there's something else Keir Hartley stood for which links him to this meeting tonight. I've got a bill here. This is it's not a bill, as in a bill, is it a bill? A parliamentary bill. It's the first private member's bill that was passed by the newly convened Scottish Parliament. The Scottish Parliament was reconvened in 1999. bill was introduced by myself in September of 1999. I was elected in May of 1999, and within 3 months of that election I introduced a bill to abolish hindrance and warrant sales. In Keir Hardie's manifesto of the Independent Labour Party that was formed in 1888, they had a commitment to abolish warrant sales. So we've got a link in relation to that very rich pedigree that Hardie stood for. That pedigree lives on in our hearts here in Solidarity. And I certainly hope those of you who haven't yet joined us will consider joining us after tonight's meeting. You see, the reason this is important is because when people say to me, as they often do, Tommy, you have all got good ideas and you find good causes, but what's the use of voting for you? You can't do anything. You're not going to be the next government. And we know that, we appreciate that. Of course we're not going to be the next government. But do you know what? I was the only socialist elected in 1999, and within 3 months introduced a bill to abolish hindrance and warrant sales that 12 months later was passed into legislation in Scotland, and we were able, with one member of Parliament, we were able to do something that the Independent Labour Party had been standing for since 1888, and the British Parliament could never find time. Bear in mind that when we stand here in front of you with our commitments, with our pledges, we don't just talk a good game. We actually know how the system works. We know how to present parliamentary bills. We know how to get issues on the agenda. The second bill I introduced to the Scottish Parliament in the first session of 1999 to 2003 was for universal, free, healthy school meals for every child in Scotland. Now sadly I never won that bill. It was voted down by the Unionist Tory alliance of the Liberals, the Tories, and then shamefully the Labour Party. Shamefully. Particularly shameful. Not just the fact that the Labour Party would vote against free and healthy, nutritious school meals for every kid, so that we don't have the embarrassing means testing our aims, going to school and having to apply for free school meal tickets, getting their names shouted out at class so everybody knows, oh, they're in the free school meals, they're mum and dad's poor. Shameful that the Labour Party voted against it. I'll tell you what, let's not forget the Lib Dems. They were in government, coalition government in 1990-2003, and they waxed lyrical, they bumped their gums down in England about introducing free school meals in England, but here in Scotland they voted against free school meals. They cannot be trusted. They still be fought. But the important thing about that bill, brothers and sisters, isn't just that it showed up Labour and the Lib Dems and the Tories for their desire to punish working class people, for the fact that they couldn't care less that working class people are often humiliated because they have to accept means testing. It wasn't just important from that point of view. It was important from the point of view that although we lost the vote in 2002 for the Free School Meals Bill, free school meals was on the political agenda in Scotland. It wasn't on the political agenda. It wasn't on the political agenda of any of the other political parties. But as a single socialist, we managed to get it on the political agenda in the Scottish Parliament. In the second session of the Scottish Parliament, I managed to introduce a few other bills. I managed to introduce a bill to abolish the council tax and replace it
alternative. So that instead of taxing the poor and the pensioners, we tax the rich and the millionaires. That's what we need to do for local taxes. And you know, I lost it. But even up to today, it is still an issue. It's still an issue, and regretfully the SNP have backtracked on a commitment that they fought the 2007 election on, that they fought the 2011 election on, and that was to abolish the council tax and replace it with a fairer income-based alternative. Today they've announced that they're going to reform the council tax instead. It doesn't matter what way we try and sell that. That is a U-turn. That is a U-turn, and it's letting down those people who voted SNP on the basis, many of them on the basis, that they supported scrapping the unfair council tax. I also introduced a bill to ban the public sales of air guns. My attitude to air guns is they're lethal weapons. I'm sure those in the farming communities would argue, well, sometimes we need air guns for pest control. That's a legitimate argument. I'm not going to say that isn't a legitimate argument. But if you need an air gun, apply for a licence. That's what I say, apply for a licence. Because I'm fed up with the housing schemes of Glasgow, of Edinburgh, of Dundee. People able to walk into shops in the city centre and buy a lethal weapon and then use them in a way that is treacherous for emergency services, treacherous for pets, and of course, in relation to wee Andrew Morton, treacherous for his loss of life, who was killed by the misuse of an air rifle. On his behalf, on his parents' behalf, I introduced the bill to ban the public sales of air guns and to force those who wish to own an air gun to first of all have a licence to own an air gun. Brothers and sisters, I lost that bill. I lost that bill in 2005. Guess what? It's now becoming legislation this month. It's now becoming legislation this month. The point, hopefully, I am making here is that voting for a smaller party isn't a wasted vote, because the issues that the smaller parties raise are often the issues that are of importance to the working class, but the big parties don't pay any attention to. There was another bill I introduced, and I want to leave this one to the last, because it has a link to another point that I want to make. The other bill I introduced, with the support of the Rail, Maritime and Transport Workers Trade Union, who sponsored the bill, was to return the railways in Scotland to public ownership. To take the rail industry back from those who stole it, to take it out of the hands of the private owners and private shareholders, and return it to the public sector, so that travelling by rail was based on safety and the maximum service, not on profit. Brothers and sisters, I managed to get the bill written up. I managed to get the Rail, Maritime Transport Workers Union to sponsor. And then when I raised it with the Parliament, the presiding officer took legal advice. And his legal advice was, under the competition laws of the European Union, it was not legally competent for us to pass the Rail Public Ownership Bill. Not legally competent. Brothers and sisters, that wee story in and of itself explains why this party, Solidarity, is a socialist party for democratic reasons. For the reasons that we are a socialist party that believes in a socialised economy, that's why we're opposed We believe fundamentally that when you vote for a political party to become your government, they should be able to carry out the policies you voted for. No one in the Scottish Parliament, apart from the Tories in 2005, wanted to tender for Cumnock ferry services, a lifeline ferry service. And in 2005, we were forced to put it to private tender instead of retaining it in the public sector. Why? Because the European Union told us to. They said it was part of their competition rules that we had to tender for an essential lifeline ferry service. Brothers and sisters, it cost us £1 million to carry out that tendering service. And guess what? The contract was awarded to Cumnock that was already running the service. £1 million. Brothers and sisters, we do not want to be members of an unelected bureaucracy which runs the European Union and runs it on behalf of big business. Don't believe the hype that the European Union has the interests of workers at heart. That's a load of baloney. The European Union exists to drive through liberalisation, privatisation of all services. If you think the European Union has the interests of workers at heart, ask yourself why the post office was privatised. Ask yourself why the railways were privatised. Ask yourself why TTIP has been promoted by the European Union and will open up our education to privatisation and our health service to privatisation. The European Union and TTIP is the different sides of the same coin. Opposition to TTIP is the same as being opposed to the boss's European Union. We in Solidarity are quite clear that we are for Europe, but we're against the European Union. Our attitude, brothers and sisters, let's be categorical about this. I need to emphasise and stress this, particularly someone of Irish stock like me. We are not in any way, shape or form anti the European Union on the basis of migration or migrants or refugees. Solidarity is a socialist party. Solidarity is a people's party. Solidarity believes in holding out the hand of friendship to refugees, not the hand of hate that you get from your Farages and your UKIPs and the other racists who are campaigning against the European Union on a different prospectus from us. We believe in the free movement of peoples, but we don't believe in the free movement of capital. We don't believe that big business can set up whatever it wants and exploit whoever it wants and sack them at the drop of a hat. We want to control capital. We want to control big business. That's why, like Iceland, like Norway, we believe in having free trade agreements outside of the European Union. And you know, that's very much linked to the final point that I'm going to make. Some of our policies have already been outlined, better than I could ever outline. But one of the things that we give an absolute iron cast commitment to is Indie Ref 2. We listen to some of the voices within the Yes community. Some of those voices that say, we're not ready yet. It's not the right time. Wait till we've got consistent 60% in the polls. Brothers and sisters, I've got to say to you, solidarity speaks for those who don't have a voice. Solidarity speaks to the powerful, speaks to the establishment, speaks to those who wish to continue the status quo of grotesque inequality of income, of power, of wealth. We speak for those who are the victims of austerity here and now, and they can't wait. They can't wait for us. We in Solidarity believe we were lied to. We were bullied, we were cheated, we were conned. Those tactics won't work again. We believe by 2018, NDRF2 should be a reality, and the people of Scotland should have the opportunity to take their destiny in their own hands and make the decisions that shape the rest of our lives. Brothers and sisters, let's be clear about this. We fundamentally reject the idea that a Euro referendum result should dictate when there's another Euro referendum. The Euro referendum should not dictate the next NDRF. Why? Because I believe the people of Scotland should decide president. Not the voters of any rules. And what I fundamentally believe, and we gave the commitment on Pintage and Warren sales, and we introduced the bill within 3 months. We give the same commitment in relation to NDRF2. You vote Solidarity, you're guaranteeing there's going to be an NDRF2 bill presented within 3 months in the Scottish Parliament. We went, remember, we went from the mid-20s to the high 20s to 45% in the course of the referendum campaign. Who in here doesn't believe that we can go from 45 to 65% in the course of the next referendum? No ifs, no buts. NDRF2 is on the agenda if you vote for Solidarity. My final point is this. Rosemary's about to shut me up. She's one of these strong women. I'm going to laugh when I heard somebody referred to Gobby women. I think it was Karen talked about Gobby women on the platform tonight. Please believe me, Karen, I was brought up with Gobby women. One of them sitting there, my mother. Wonderful sisters within Carol, who have been a great source of support to me throughout my whole life and continue to be so. But what I want to say in conclusion is this. I, living in Glasgow, I'm going to vote SNP with my first vote. Not because I endorse everything. I've got some worries about some of the weaknesses so far. I campaigned for an SNP vote last year at the general election. I campaigned under the slogan to send them out there, not to settle down, but to settle up. So far, I've not seen no signs of them settling up. I don't want them to settle down and just become part of the furniture down in the House of Westminster. I want them to break the chains. I want them to be getting kicked out of that parliament. I want them to make it ungovernable. They have no mandate. The Tories have no mandate for their austerity policy in Scotland. No mandate. We should be defying the Tory cuts, not complying with the Tory cuts. I say to anybody like me in Glasgow, if you're an indie supporter, if you're part of the Yes family, the Yes community, by all means give your first vote to the SNP. But anywhere in Scotland, given the opinion polls consistently since last May, 18 opinion polls, the latest today. What did it say today? Go and check the Independent. It's predicting 60% support for the SNP on the first vote. What does that mean? That means between 68 and 73, all of the first past the post constituencies. You only need 66 to get a majority in the Parliament. In other words, brothers and sisters, the SNP are going to win a majority on the first vote alone. That's a fact in May. Take the city of Glasgow. They're going to win all 9 constituencies. What happens with a second vote? The second vote is diluted by the number of seats you win in the first vote plus 1. What does that mean? How does that arithmetic work? It means if 100,000 people in Glasgow give their second vote to the SNP, 90,000 of those votes are discounted. Why? Because they're going to win all 9 seats. 9 plus 1 is 10. 100,000 divided by 10 is 10,000. That's the only number of votes that will count. 90,000 out of 100,000 votes don't count. The SNP will win no list seats in Glasgow. That's the reality. They are unlikely to win any list seats in any other part of Scotland. So when you are part of the Yes community or the Yes family and you want to vote for independence, yes, give the SNP your first vote, but don't give them your second vote, because the only parties you're going to help by giving the SNP your second vote are the unionist parties. Don't support the unionist parties. Electorally annihilate the unionist parties. That's what we need to do. Instead of Labour and the Tories and the Lib Dems picking up list seats, give your second vote to Solidarity or one of the other smaller pro-anti-austerity parties, and we will be elected in place of Labour, Tory and Lib Dems. We will not endanger an SNP majority. That is nonsense. But what you've got in your hands, you've got the ability to betray these people, to put them where they belong in an electoral rump, to electorally punish those who tried to trample all over our dreams, who told us we weren't big enough, we weren't smart enough, we weren't brave enough, who wined and dined and shouted and screamed and raised their champagne glasses with the Tories when they won in September of 2014. Brothers and sisters, let's